Nathan, I am driving the brand new 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro with a manual.
Yeah, and I'm in a 4Runner TRD Pro with an automatic. But you know what I have that you don't?
What's that?
I got style.
And we are going up and down the Ironclads Trail. And we're gonna see exactly what these two are made of.
That sounds good. So you're going up the steps right now, right?
Oh yeah, and it was easy for me. Do you mean you're using the crawl control?
A-track and crawl control, buddy. All right, well, some of you guys are suggesting that I use that system. Hear that? That is the ABS making a lot of noise already trying to get over this hill. Honestly, I much prefer not use it. But it goes at a very slow rate. Well, it depends on what you select. I'm selecting the lowest setting. I'm using the system. I'm not happy about it. It's making a lot of noise. ABS is so loud. The ABS is like a purring kitty on crack. I really don't like using this system, but it did the job.
In the Tacoma, I'm rolling on factory tires that come from the dealership. And these are Goodyear Wranglers with Kevlar, and the size is 265/70 R16. And I think this might be my weakness today on the trail, but to help that, I have 9.4 inches of ground clearance, I have Fox shocks, and I think really good flexi frame that should help me.
Even though they're very similar machines, they have very different tires, which is unusual to me. This has Nitto Terror Grapplers. Weird name, but they're really good tires. They've done very well so far in the snow. And what's interesting is that even though overall the dimensions are similar, the tires, yes, are very different, and the wheels are extremely different. These are 17s, Andre has 16s, and frankly, I think these look better.
All right, so we cleared the first obstacle, which was the steps. Now we're up to the Razor Rocks right here with some fresh snow. It's muddy, and we're always worried about this. It's the tree, and what happens is, because this is angled to the side, usually the trucks end up in a tree, which we don't want, no matter what. So we're gonna negotiate this and test the articulation, tires, and traction. That's pretty cool. That's a V8 powered 4Runner. And it's re-geared a little bit to give it a little bit more oomph, and it's lifted too with side rails protection. I'm pretty confident about this Razor Rock challenge because I have the crawl ratio, the 44:1. I have underbody protection, skid plates. I have, of course, Fox suspension. And my crawl ratio 44:1 in low, in first, is really should help me. I'm going to engage my camera system as well. I have that, so I'm going to use it. So I'm gonna try to go up this. Okay, so it's a little sketchy. Let me try one more time. Okay, I'm going next to the tree, so I'm a little off kilter, so let me try it again. With a little bit more momentum, I think I should be able to do this and not actually touch. Ooh, I just touched the skid plate, no! But with a tiny bit of momentum and first gear, I was able to tackle this challenge. Whew! Nice. The overall driver position and controls are way different right here in the Tacoma. First of all, of course, I have a manual in this case, which is actually right at hand and very easy to use. But I do wish that I would have that manual lever to change into 4 high and 4 low like Nathan does. All I have here is this. It's a little knob that goes from 2-wheel drive to 4 high to 4 low. And I don't have crawl control because of a manual, but I do have A-track and also the rear locker. So I still have a lot of capability in this truck.
Alrighty guys, so what do we have inside the Toyota 4Runner? Well, they have over the years updated it to make it fairly advanced for off-roading, especially for people who are novice and are a little afraid of doing it on their own. That's what all these controls are for. But first, let's start off with the good old-fashioned 4-wheel drive system, because it is look at that, manual engagement. I love it. I do not like having little knobs and all that when you're trying to go into 4 high and 4 low. So I do prefer this. Interesting, Andres does not provide that. This vehicle has an A-track system and crawl control. So basically, these are traction control systems. You're able to choose different terrains right here, from light to heavy, and you're able to control your speed. Think of it as cruise control for off-roading. And as you go faster and slower, what it does is it actually takes the traction, puts it into a brain and says, okay, I'm slipping here, I need to apply ABS. And it makes a hell of a lot of noise, but it actually works. And it works surprisingly well. This is not the only car company, by the way, to do this. Jeep does it, some others do it. It also has, and this is my favorite one right here, locking rear diff. Pretty much, that's all I need to be happy. All of this other stuff is sort of unnecessary in my book. Away we go. These tires are not digging the snow. This is no good. Let me straighten out.
Yeah, takes time. So, I think a little bit of momentum, and maybe not quite as extreme to the right. I think that would be the ticket. That's my opinion.
All right, let's give it a shot.
But obviously, just see how you feel.
Momentum works. Many years ago, they built this engine, the 4-liter V6, which is legendary for reliability. I know it, you know it, you know it. And it puts out 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. It's hooked up to a 5-speed automatic transmission. And let's face it, okay, it might be a little thirsty, but it's beefy.
Yeah, but dude, the transmission in the 4Runner is probably older than Tommy at this point. But this actually totally different engine. A
Yeah.
3.5 liter dual injected engine with more horsepower, actually, 278,
Yeah.
but less torque, 265.
Yes.
And it's made it to either a manual, haha,
Yeah.
or of course a new 6-speed automatic. So 18 combined MPG, 17.
Yeah, I know, and it's, you know, that's something that some people say, that's 1 mile per gallon difference. That is huge. No, it's not. It's not that big of a deal, especially depending on who's driving.
Dude, that was really interesting and I think a little bit unexpected.
Well, they do have different tires, and they have different grip, and they have different types of weight distribution. You know, in some ways they're very different, but I gotta say, I think your articulation in the back is much better.
Yeah, I was really worried about my breakover angle, this truck being longer than yours, but I think turned out that it was flexing more and giving me a little bit more traction, even with these tires. So articulation is a little bit better. But then, of course, you tackled it, you know, on that line also without much issue.
Yeah, after a few attempts, it worked out. You know, the biggest thing is, it's always difficult on snow, and it's always unpredictable on snow.
Talk about unpredictable. I'm staring at Truth or Dare. Wow. Okay, I'm a little bit stuck. I'm gonna use A-Track. A-Track on. Okay, A-Track doesn't work. Let me back up a smidge. Alright, there it is. A-Track did work. The ABS system took over.
Whoa! The entire front end slid about 10 feet. Momentum really helps on this type of thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to what Andre is going to do. There he goes.
So the tricky part here is traction, and I'm gonna keep A-Track on, no rear locker yet, because I don't want my rear end to keep sliding, but maybe this computerized brake system will help me, and I can actually go over these big rocks and see if I can negotiate them. Let's see how Nathan is doing behind me.
We're keeping even a wider distance because it's super slippery, so I don't want him losing traction and sliding down into me. Hey, he's losing traction right there. I am 17 inches shorter in terms of wheelbase than the Toyota Tacoma. That's really good off-road. On top of that, I have 9.6 inches of ground clearance, which is, well, better. On top of that, off-road, I have an SUV, and the one benefit of having an SUV is having extra weight over the rear wheels. That gives me better weight distribution.
Okay, I'm able to choose my line. Okay, got a little bit hung up on that rock. Okay, keep moving. You could hear the ABS system, I think.
All right, I'm not taking this slow either. There's a rock there and I'm trying to avoid it. Much better than I expected. Yeah. Hey. I think he went up here. Oh, right into the sun. That's great. Off-roading when you're blinded by the sun, always awesome. All right, let's get up here and we are good. Had no problems. Did it a lot easier than he did.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about when talking about ice, because the snow melts and remelts, and you can see right underneath the snow there's a sheet of ice, and this is what part of our challenge is today, which is why I don't think we can go actually all the way up and over the entire loop. So we did most of the obstacles, and now the challenge is to actually go down the mountain. It's very scary right now, very, very icy. So I'm gonna be using first gear, and maybe a hair of brake. I'm gonna breathe on my brake. So I don't have crawl control system. And my tires are not the best. And I'm staring at a tree that's in my path and I need to go around it.
Now, he has a manual transmission. Occasionally I'm permitted to drive vehicles with a manual transmission. I prefer having a nice tight first gear going down a hill like this. Now, I do have a million different buttons here, so I can do a hill descent control if I needed to. I don't think it's necessary. I'm maintaining traction. This thing actually has really good weight distribution.
Anyway, so I'm maintaining good momentum. I don't want to lock up, because as soon as I lock my wheels up, I turn into a very expensive sled. And that would be a no-no. Okay. Don't lock up, don't lock up. Okay. You know what? I love this manual transmission. Very easy to drive. There's a little bit of an issue between the reverse and first. They're very close to each other. But if you pay attention, and the crawl ratio actually allows me to negotiate this downslope on the ice at a very slow pace, so I don't lock up and I'm very easygoing.
One thing I've really noticed, and I've done this a few times now in the snow in this very same vehicle, and it seems like it's happy just kind of plowing along at a light clip. So, you know, not too slow, not too fast. There's like this just right, and the 4Runner is extremely happy doing that, even in snow. Going downhill in snow sucks, but it's also kind of fun because you just don't know what's going to happen. So what do these vehicles cost? So what's the price difference too?
Actually, that's pretty stark.
Yeah.
Because the Tacoma, as you see here, about $47,000. The 4Runner is about 51, right?
Right. So, I mean, there's a pretty big gap between the two of them, but they're very different trucks in terms of their mission statement.
Well, there you go, guys. And tell us what you think in the comments below.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.